Hello, my name is Phantom. A lot of you have been asking the question, what happened in New York and all that stuff. Well, after I lived there for several months and things were not taken care of as far as water, running water, and other things, and after having the initial agreement being altered on a weekly basis and being, forced to use my PayPal account for nefarious reasons, etc., etc., I made the decision that I wanted to move out and go back to Utah. I told Jewsy that I was going back to Utah, and at this point, when he realized that his fun was over, and he had, he realized that I was leaving, I guess he decided that I was going to leave on his terms and not my terms. So he orchestrated a plan to ambush me just days before I was scheduled to fly out of New York, and showed up out of nowhere at the house in New York. So basically the few things I'm going to show you in this video are a video of excuse me, actually first we're going to play some audio. Now the audio clips that I'm going to show you are from the night that he showed up, that very night. After pretending to be nice and all that, it soon became clear what he was trying to do, and he launched into a barrage of scenarios in which he would be able to screw me over and ruin my life, including having my cat put down, cutting me off from any way of having transportation to get into the town to a motel or to the airport, and finally trying to kidnap my belongings. So I had a lot of belongings in the car, including a photo album which has the only photos that I have in the whole world of my family and growing up, sentimental items like that, including all of my clothing, because I had recently done a trip to the laundromat, so all of my laundry was in the car as well. And he threatened to hold that hostage until I met his demands, which included paying him a large sum of money, which I didn't owe him. So, at this point, the audio you're going to hear is just argument between me and him. I'm sitting on my bed in my bedroom, and he's yelling from the other room. And you can kind of get an idea of the toxic situation that was happening. And then after the audio plays, I will come back in and give you an explanation of the video that I'm going to play after that. So here we go. Here's the audio. I can't hear you. I know you're a good person. You'll do the right thing in the end. Give me my shit.
He doesn't know what's in there, though. He never saw you put it in there. So
he did. He moved my clothes into the trunk, you moron.
I don't know whose clothes they were.
It doesn't matter. The police are going to get my shit out of that car if Jacob doesn't give it to me voluntarily. And that's the end of it. I'm not going to even talk to you about it anymore. Keep fantasizing in your little pea brain about how you're right.
Well, find out where the car was towed. You gotta know where it's at. Where's the towed? How are you gonna get that stuff out? You gotta show that you own the car too. They won't let anybody go to the car.
I'm not going to get my stuff out of the car while it's in the impound. I'm going to get it while it's out of the impound.
Okay. Well, it's not gonna be out of the impound.
And if you don't take it out of the impound, I will get it out of there while it's in the impound. It'll just be a harder task. I'll have to get the sheriffs involved. They'll go in the impound, inspect the property. If it does indeed contain my face and it can be proven it's my property, they'll give it to me.
You can't search somebody else's car. You gotta have a warrant.
They can search it. They have custody of your vehicle. That's why they searched it when they fucking arrested him.
No, the tow truck driver does. Not you. The record company does.
Dude, if someone claims that their property is, you know what? I'm done talking to you about this. You have absolutely no experience in this. You obviously have very little experience when it comes to the police and the law. You're a fucking moron. Go away.
You're a bum.
Period.
You're a drug addict.
Sure.
Yesterday, it is all happening. See, here's the thing.
Anything else?
We gotta call the internet company and get that bill out of my name right now.
Get the what and the what now?
The cable bill out of my name. They can come and get that modem too.
It's not in your name. It's in my name.
Doesn't
You can't get out. It's not a utility, you moron. It's not an electric company or a gas company. You're a fucking idiot. You are the dumbest fuck. I swear to God, you're such a fucking dumb fuck. You know, to tell you, and you know what? That gives me a good idea. You want to keep fucking talking shit? The minute I step out of here, I'll turn that shit off. Fucking moron.
You can turn it off right now.
Why would I turn it off right now? I'm here.
You know, White Buffalo is an adult, and the guy's a wonderful person, and you're just.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. He doesn't know what he's in for. Doesn't know what he's in for.
You're an absolute child.
He's actually a good person, unlike you. So I feel bad for him.
He told me on the phone that he was in a crisis. He was 3 months behind on his power bill, and guess who wanted money?
So as you can tell, things were pretty toxic, and you know, my plan was to leave the next day. My flight wasn't until Monday, but this was, I believe, Friday or Saturday. So I decided that instead of trying to live in that house with him for several days, and quite possibly, you know, eventually doing something that could get me in trouble, such as beating the ever-loving shit out of him, I decided to move into a motel and spend $300 plus extra dollars just to get out of the situation. Once he figured that out, once he knew that I wasn't going to be trapped with him in the house, he became even more infuriated. And like I said, he orchestrated a plan the following day to basically leave the house early in the morning with his little bitch boy, with all of my belongings in the car, and not return ever. That's basically what he told me. He said, I'm going to leave. I'm never coming back with your stuff. So I don't know if that means that he was going to take all my shit and throw it out in the street somewhere, or what he was going to do with it. But either way, I wasn't going to let that happen, obviously. So what I did is I ran out into the driveway right before he was going to pull out, and I stood behind the car and refused to move. And at the same time, I called the police. After this video plays, I'm going to explain to you what happened, you know, after the video ends, as far as what happened with the police, and then basically what happened after that.
Blocking my drive. You need to get out of the drive, please.
I'm not going to let you steal my stuff, sorry.
I don't have any idea what is in my trunk.
Yeah, you do. Both of you do.
I own this car.
He put my clothes in this trunk with his own hands yesterday.
I own this car. You do not have access to my vehicle.
Have you registered the car in your name?
Please move.
Well, we're going to sort this all out when the cops get here. Because if he still owns this car, he's going to be the one dealing with the cops, not you. That's why I implore him to get out of the car and open this trunk and do the right thing right now. You don't have to wait till the cops get here, man. You can do the right thing. Here we go. So basically, the police showed up, and they became extremely upset at Jewsy. He really has no clue how to handle police, because the first rule is you don't lie, especially when you know that there's evidence to basically prove that you're a liar. So when the police arrived, he started lying to them right off the bat. The first thing he told them was that I stole his car, that car that I was using was stolen, and then I stole it from California and drove it all the way to New York without his knowledge or permission. Everyone in the room knows that's not true, and so do the police, because I have all of our text messages, Facebook messages, emails. I have all of that on my phone. So after the police read all those messages, they went back to the side of the car and questioned him again. And at this point, they're understanding that they're dealing with a real jackass here, and they started to get impatient with him, to say the least. And they started to threaten him, saying, hey, basically, you either let this boy get in there and get his stuff out of this car, or we're going to take you to jail, for obstructing and all this stuff. And then he claimed that I had cocaine in the house. He said I had cocaine in the house. I had this jar of creatine monohydrate. It's a supplement for bodybuilding. And Jewsy is such a moron. He thought it was cocaine. He told the police that it was cocaine. And then the police told him, well, how about this? How about if we go in there and search the place and we find anything, we take you to jail too, since it's your house. And, after Jewsy finally, even as retarded as he is, started to realize that he is not going to win in this situation, he finally gave up completely, and he relinquished everything. He said, go in the trunk, get your stuff. So I got all my stuff, and I brought it into the house, and I spent the rest of the day packing. And at the end of that night, I took a taxi cab to the Days Inn, and I stayed in the motel until my flight on Monday. He's a horrible person. I did everything that I promised that I was going to do before I moved out there. He was the one that that did not keep the faith. He didn't live up to his word. He kept moving the goalpost. He kept saying that he was going to start charging me rent and for bills and this and that. And, and it got worse and worse and worse as time went on, because basically what he was trying to do is he was trying to exploit my horrible position in life at the time for comedy, for a troll, for a story to tell, and with really no regard or empathy for my situation or what I was going through. This became increasingly clear to me, and that's why I ultimately made the decision to leave. Now, you can believe whatever he tells you. It really doesn't matter to me. But at the end of the day, this is the truth. And I'm telling you the truth, and, you can believe me if you want to, or you don't have to. Because at the end of the day, I really don't care what you believe or what any of you think. Anybody with any kind of intelligence would know that I was the one at the mercy of other people. I was the one that was vulnerable, not Jewsy. And so, I was treated very cruelly, and, I went out of my way to do everything he asked me to do. I picked up a fucking refrigerator and a fucking snowplow, and I went into town every goddamn day to pick shit up for him from Home Depot. I allowed him, against my protest, to use my PayPal account as his personal bank account, sending all the money that he wanted to send through me so I could give it to his handyman and all that stuff. And I didn't want to do that. And I looked the other way when it came to all the illegal shit that I saw going on, as far as him, using the name and the identity of Jacob Howarth, which is the kid that used to go on Stickcam and Tiny Chat, and he lived with Jewsy for a time. And he's using this kid's identity, including the cars in his name. He has a PayPal account with this kid's name that he's getting all this money through. All of the major purchases that he's making for the house is under this kid's name. I don't know what is going on with them. I feel bad for that kid. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know why this is happening with him. But, I looked the other way. I looked the other way with the scams, the fact that he's doing all of this because he's trying to avoid the Social Security Administration and disability from finding out that he's got all this other income and property and assets. And he's taking advantage of the system, getting grants and assistance to help him with that house, even though He has more income than they think he has. So I looked the other way for all that stuff. And he tried to include me in it. He tried to get me to participate in his little schemes and scams, and I'm just not going to be drawn into that. I got my own life. Now, if anybody's doubting any of this, I took every opportunity that I had to do what I needed to do to get out of this situation. The fact that I had enough resources to leave that house and go to a motel and pay all that money, and then pay money for a flight and pay money to get back here, and now that I'm living in my own apartment that I worked hard to obtain, paying my own rent, and once again I'm independent on my own. I dug myself out of that situation. This person tried to ruin my life. He tried to take it away from me. He tried to make it so bad for me that I would kill myself, basically. And I'll never forgive him for it. And just remember, Jewsy is a horrible human being beyond any kind of repair or redemption. Well, that's the end of the story. Bye-bye.